noticed that everyone seemed to start from this very polite, super far away range.
Yeah.
We started close in our first two.
Yep, and then I was...
Yeah, then he stepped away.
The thing about using a meteor hammer rope dart is 9 times out of 10, it has the range advantage. So if you start far away, I automatically have the advantage. I have the time to spin it up to a damaging speed because, again, it's an impact weapon. The way that I use mine, what I use, it's an impact weapon, which means it needs some mass, it needs some force behind it to actually hurt somebody. It needs some speed. So if I start from super far away, that gives me the time that I need to start spinning this, which in and of itself, we all know, choking down on the lead line, getting closer to the weight, means it takes less time to get it moving into play, right? The further away it is from me, the longer it takes me to affect it. So when I start spinning, I start here, make that spin happen quick, right? What were you going to say? And then I'm going to get to you.
It actually builds off what you said. There was a time that I lost a leg but still won.
Yeah.
I lost it on the way in and they were recovering and I still was able to get like a gut slice down. Yeah.
That's fucking gorgeous. I love that shit. What were you going to say, sir?
All right, so it's more of an example of
Okay,
what.
I love examples.
All right, can I steal a dart for a second?
Of course. You can borrow it.
So,
They're very high end.
the way I was approaching it when I had the dart, instead of trying to wind up and shoot, I just used pendulums and shot.
Absolutely.
Was
if I'm
that
doing my shots,
something to do? Just try to take out my energy, recover, and then
Yeah,
go back
keeping
into
it close, making it a short recovery as short as possible, absolutely fantastic.
Gotcha.
I completely agree. So,
What I'd recommend on top of that,
yeah.
let gravity be your advantage and do more overhand strikes. Because then you're
Yep.
just guiding.
Gotcha.
When I am using a meteor hammer, gravity becomes my best friend, right? Gravity's, what, 9.83 meters per second? Something like that, right? I don't know anybody that can run that fast. Do you? Gravity moves fucking quick. So, if I can use gravity to help me, so much the better. And if I can add things like we call them our drop steps, where I'm using gravity to step forward and get that force out of it, right? I can take my swing, right? I can take that downswing and get that much range out of it with just a good step forward, right? I'm just using gravity to help me. So, the cool thing is, using one of these, to a certain point, is fairly intuitive. It's a flexible thing, I swing it around, I get it moving at speed, and then I bonk you with it. Who found that fighting around shields was horseshit? Yeah. Fighting around shields fucking sucks. I have to either overshoot the target so that it wraps down and back behind, or I have to swing up high and then level change down low toward ankles, right? Grabbing someone's ankle and pulling it out from underneath them is by far one of the best things you can ever fucking do. It works so goddamn well. Especially on ground like this. You grab an ankle, you pull, they go. And by the time this is unwrapping and they're trying to figure out why they're on the ground, they've been hit. I get to go home and feed my cat and go to bed. So, what I wanted you guys to hopefully get from this, and what I'm hoping we all learned a little bit of, is first off, you guys are learning to use a weapon, right? You guys are using it for flow, you're using it for art, you all have different reasons for doing it. This does not invalidate why you do what you do. Distinction is not difference, right? I can appreciate the leaves on the tree, I can appreciate the bark of the tree, but I understand that it's still a fucking tree. So, when I talk about my combative work, I also go into the 3 things that I see as the main core pieces of doing rope dart, meteor hammer, and flexible weapons in general, right? I have my combative application. This is how the fuck do I hit somebody as hard as I can with a rock and put it in their head so I can go home, right? I have flow work. How do I move this thing around my body at any given time and understand where it is and stay in contact with it so I never lose it? And trick work, like you guys see me posting on TikTok and stuff like that. What's the craziest fucking thing I can get my body and this weapon to do? What's the craziest shit? What can I come up with?
Cradles.
Exactly. So, what you learn from this is I need all 3 of these in order to be good at any one, right? If I want to be good at combat, I need to understand how to recover quickly and move this around my body no matter where it is. There's my flow. And I need to understand what my body can do in the extreme right, nice settings so that I can mess with that in settings that are less than ideal, right? It makes me better. Flow work. If I understand proper power generation from combative standpoints, right, and I hit my foot shots and I hit them like I'm trying to put a hole in someone's chest, and especially that charcoal we were seeing, right? I pop that foot shot out, that just looks fucking gorgeous. Are you kidding me? You throw that shit out like you mean it and like you're trying to put a hole in somebody, people stop. They watch, right? And with my trick work for my flow work, right? To make my flow work better, having good trick work, I understand the craziest shit I could do. Which means now I can start to incorporate it in my flow work to get even better, and I can pop that shit out and people go, what the fuck is that? It's like, yeah, I know, right? It's really cool. Yeah. So, and then in order to get good at trick work, right? That big, super high-end crazy bullshit that's only good for making content. Which we've already established is not true. It does some really cool shit, right? If I want to get good at my trick work, I need to have an understanding of combative ones. How do I generate power efficiently? How do I move this with my body and make sure that when I swing it, it finds its target and it hits it hard, right? Second, I need to have good flow work. Because my trick work, if I just do one piece and then another piece and then another piece and separate them all out, it looks ugly as shit. So I need to be able to flow through the individual pieces of whatever I'm doing to make that trick look even nicer. I need all three of these pieces to be good, and I mean like really good at any single one of them. If you don't think you need all three of those pieces, either you're delusional, double check, or you're already doing them and you don't know. That's really cool. What I got to watch as you guys were all sparring is that all of you have an absolutely undeniable outstanding of how to hurt people with this. You know your planes, you know how to swing a rope around, you know how to make the heavy thing hit them. Congratulations, you've done it, that's it. Everything else is icing. Shots work great if I've got somebody with a shield or someone that knows what they're doing. Most people do not understand how to handle a flexible weapon, right? If I am used to dealing with rigid weapons and he swings this down at me, most people are gonna do something like this. They're gonna put a forearm in the way. They're gonna put something rigid to meet something rigid, right? I may have some good martial arts work and he swings that down, right, and that comes in, and I'm taking that offline to come up close to him. But at the end of the day, I'm still putting something rigid in the way. If I do that with a flexible weapon, I create a pivot point. And when that wraps around, and he swings this down towards me, here you go. Yeah, that's for you. You get to hit me. He swings it down toward me, I put my forearm in the way.
Bonk.
He just broke my back. I don't mean, oh no, wow, it bonked, it tickled. I mean, I'm not moving my arms anymore. Anything below that point is fucked. That's what just happened. In that moment, he swung down, and I went, I'm going to stop it. That was scapula. I've got a shoulder that's not working right anymore. Fighting a flexible weapon is fucking disgusting because people do not understand how to handle it. And in the first encounter you get with it, you don't get time to learn how to handle it. You get fucked up. That's it. A lot of my work is angled through combative application. I'm looking to hit somebody with my rock, my angry pet rock, my medical bill over there, right? So, couple of things. Again, this may be some 101 stuff you may have already noticed, but if you haven't, I'm glad to share. First off, if I need to change through my planes, don't fight the weight. If I am already in an up spin and wheel plane, and I want to go to heaven plane, it's already spinning up, just take it there, right? If I want to take it back down over into wheel plane, it's spinning toward anchor side, which means it wants to go to anchor side first. Weave it back over to your lead side and back over. Right? That is super simple, really quick. Up spin, heaven plane, weave it down and I'm back in the wheel plane. Don't fight the weight. If it's in a down spin and wheel plane and I still want to take it up into heaven plane, sit backward. It's technically going back behind me. If I turn, now it's spinning up. There's my heaven plane, right? And just working through these positions, super duper useful. Second, when I'm doing this combatively, I try and do this untethered as often as possible. I'll wrap it around my hand, but I'm not going to actually anchor it. Here's why. You guys saw it a little bit. Can I borrow you? Can I go here? Thank you, sir. If something really awful happens, which it usually does, and this gets bound around this. If I'm really, really good, and he stabs in, right, I can take that offline so that it doesn't stab me, right?
Oh, shit.
The first thing I said was, if I'm really, really good, I ain't good on every day. So, what that means, if I have this tethered, right, is now I am tied to the sharp, pointy stick. That's not great. I don't love that. I don't know if you guys have ever had a spearhead moving towards you before. It's not super fucking fun. And I go, oh no! As he comes in, I go, ah! And I get stabbed, right? If I am tethered to this and I'm pulling against it and he's pulling against me, pull, I don't get to go anywhere. This is now cinched on my wrist. I cannot get it off of me because we're both going to be pulling and fighting. And eventually he's going to realize that I'm pulling and he's pulling. And if he's really smart, he uses that pull to come in. Use the other person's force against them, right? So I'm here, but it's turned that way, right? Because we got some people over there, right? So if I'm here and I have that untethered, right? The worst that happens is I let go. Now I'm not tied to him, and now he has to navigate a big ugly road. I can throw that in his face. I can give him things to deal with. It won't be good. I'm not going to have a good time, but it's better than being tied to it, right?
There's a lot of stuff you can do with double dart there too.
Oh, absolutely.
The other
Now,
dart.
the cool thing is, if I am confident with grabbing, wrapping, binding, trapping, all that kind of stuff, right? I can use, first off, I can't recommend enough, learning how to use your slack line defensively, right? If I take this and I choke up on this and that stab comes in, I can take that offline. I can wrap. Now this is mine. I can take that untethered hand and start grabbing things, wrapping things, trapping things, and now I've got this here. This is mine. And all I have to do is cinch that in. Now we both go places. Right? Absolutely. But as you can see, that takes some
BDSM lesson.
well, honestly, in the communities. So what you find is that shit like this is really hard. You have to practice, you have to learn, right? But learning some good infighting work with this, super valuable. Also, you'll find, I've seen a lot of people doing some really cool shit while keeping the dart very close to them, keeping that slack line taut, bringing everything in tight. That's what you're looking for. That's it. I just, instead of moving this bar through to make a pretty show, I'm moving this bar through to take the spearhead offline. Right? If I circle back, I'm looped. So, I've got this here.
Oh,
my ass!
Right? Come on. That's sort of money.
no more cheese.
Right? So, I'm going to be here. I've got an elbow. Here's the neat part. That elbow is attached to a 1-pound steel ball. So as I rack that through with my elbow at face height, this comes through at shoulder height. I just need to throw normal strikes and let this be a part of what I'm doing. Right? Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. All right.